Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football, and we've got some big news for you for Liverpool and Arsenal this morning involving centre-backs. We've also got two big transfer stories as well this Sunday morning, and also just want to say everybody who got involved in the live charity stream yesterday, £37,000 raised in 12 hours is incredible. The link is in the video description if you want to keep donating towards that, because actually we're £100 shy of £37,000, so please do donate and push us past that goal. But let's get into this show this morning. And look, interesting. Arsenal, Gabriel injured. Some Arsenal fans not happy that he was playing in a friendly when apparently he had been training alone in the week. I don't know how significant that is. We'll talk about that, what impact that has on the title race for Arsenal, because he's a huge player for them defensively and going forward. But we're going to start off with Liverpool because a very interesting quote coming out from Konate on this international break about his future at Liverpool. Now, looking at that Man City game, looking at Konate this season, it has been following a very similar pattern to Trent last year, where the performances drop off. You feel he's just running the contract down to go to Real Madrid. And why should Liverpool fans put up with that when your performances aren't very good and you're basically just running it down on purpose? But this is what Konate had to say. On his contract due to expire in June, he said, "I've seen a lot of things in the press recently. I don't know where that's coming from. My agents are continuing discussions with Liverpool. I hope my decision will be made very soon so I can announce it." So I hope my decision will be made very soon so I can announce it. Reads to me like he is about to sign a new contract at Liverpool. Now, what do you think about that, Liverpool fans? I mean, when Konate is on it, he's a very, very good defender for Liverpool. And obviously, you know, I'm sure they would want to keep him. But the way he's been playing this season, I think I've seen some Liverpool fans saying, you know, let's move him on. It doesn't look like that is the plan. Now, obviously, you've got to be very careful of that. I think Trent said some similar things at times or hinted at some similar things and ultimately ended up at Real Madrid. But I'd be very surprised if Konate is putting statements out like that in the November international break to buy him time to run the season down to go to Real Madrid. It could be that. It could be a little bit of, oh, I might be staying, leave me alone. You know, I am going to sign at some point. It's just with the club and the agent. And then you sort of get to February, March, and you go, I'm going to Real Madrid. Technically, in January, you can do a deal with Real Madrid because he's out of contract and he's a free agent to clubs outside of the Premier League. So there might be a little bit of, reservation there from Liverpool fans about it. But what are your thoughts on it? Do you think he's going to sign a new contract? Because to me, that reads like he is. And obviously, that would be, if that gets done, that might be part of the reason why Konate has not been at his best, because he's not completely settled. So maybe that is about to happen. And obviously, this is a player with experience of playing in the Premier League who's won the title with Liverpool. And if he can get back to the form of last season, then that would be a major boost for Liverpool, certainly. With Arsenal, give us your thoughts on Konate. With Arsenal, though, they have a different centre-back problem. Their best performer, I think, arguably hot take player of the season so far in the Premier League, Gabriel, yesterday forced off with a muscle injury in a friendly for Brazil at the Emirates against Senegal, and they lost 2-0. They won 2-0. Arsenal fans not happy about this, a meaningless friendly and an injury. I don't really, looking at it from the outside in, there's rumours that he might have been training alone because he's had a lot of games for Arsenal. Whether that's true or not, Brazil is his nation. Arsenal is his club. Brazil are playing at the Emirates. He got injured around an hour into the game. I mean, apart from saying you're not called up for Brazil, what are Brazil supposed to do in that situation? I mean, he's a full-blooded player. He's not going to, half play, and he's picked up an injury. And obviously, you can understand why Arsenal fans might, some of them, be unhappy, but this is the problem with international football anyway. I was talking about this on the United Stand show this morning. The key is not only is an international break a bit of a pain in the arse, but also it's your players going away, losing rhythm, getting more load on their body and potentially coming back with an injury. And unfortunately for Arsenal, as much as I think that they are the favourites to win the league, it would be foolish of us not to look at where Man City are behind them, the momentum they have, and look at the constant injuries Arsenal are picking up. And I don't know whether that's a theme, a reason or what, but they are picking up a lot of injuries. Odegaard's, I think, had 2. Saka, Madueke, obviously Gabriel, Saliba. They've all had an injury this season already. And this could be a significant one for Gabriel. They're talking that, dependent on the muscle issue, it could be 6 weeks, it could be 3. But there are big games coming up for Arsenal. The North London derby, Bayern Munich, Chelsea. Their next 3 games, which are going to happen in the next week and a half, are big games. And he won't play them. So it's a big blow for Arsenal, that is. And in a title race, this is a guy that goes up for set pieces and puts himself about there very, very well, but also defensively. So they've got coverage, they've got Mascara, they've got Hincapié, of course, but it's a big blow. And these things happen, but, you know, this is why international breaks and friendlies in international breaks, for me, are just a bit of a joke. They're a bit of a joke. Sticking with, talking about transfers, interesting story I wanted to get your thoughts on. Obviously, we covered the Bundesliga on here. You can check out the recent highlights that we put up on Friday. Lots and lots of stories over this international break about Harry Kane release clause being clicked by Barcelona. Lewandowski obviously probably going in the summer. This to me would be very interesting. Harry Kane following in the footsteps of Lewandowski from Bayern Munich to Barcelona. Arguably one of the best strikers in the world at the moment. We've seen Lewandowski play at the Nou Camp in La Liga from 33 to 38 or whatever it is. It might have been 34 actually. Harry Kane's younger than that. So would this make total sense for Barcelona? And could it happen? Could we see Harry Kane in a Barcelona shirt? What are your thoughts on that? I think it'd be a shame. I mean, people talk about him coming back to the Premier League, but I think at Bayern Munich he's been absolutely brilliant and he fits that club so perfectly. But that might be one to keep an eye on. And then bringing it back to the Premier League from Bayern Munich, more stories about Michael Olise and Liverpool and replacing Salah. Now, I've said this before. I think Olise may never come back to the Premier League. He's had his time at Palace. He's doing very well at Bayern Munich. He might fancy something else. You know, he might fancy a Real Madrid, or he might fancy a Barcelona. You know, who knows where he might end up. But I think if Liverpool are looking for a Mo Salah replacement, and we're still waiting to see, and it'll be interesting now with the international breaks out of the way and this clear run through to March, although he has got the AFCON, whether Salah can kick on. I think the jury's out on what the issue is with Salah at the moment, but at some point Liverpool are going to have to look for a longer-term replacement, and if it's Olise, there will be a lot of competition for him, but I think he is. I mean, if you're looking for a Mo Salah replacement, I mean, surely he is the #1 dream target in world football at the moment. So, I mean, you're not going to get Yamal, are you? Let's be honest. So, look, interesting. And I always say this, that the September-October international breaks are a drag. The November international break, you know it's the last one. You can get through it. But also, it's very close to the January transfer window, and there's a lot of conversations going on with agents and clubs and players, not necessarily to move in January, but also just probing for the summer. And I think that's why we're hearing stuff about Harry Kane. That's why we're hearing stuff about Olise. And look, let's wait and see what happens with this Konate thing, because I think it'll be very interesting. I mean, Liverpool have been linked with Semenyo as well, who was brilliant against Liverpool at Anfield, the opening game of the season, wasn't it? And he's having a very good season for Bournemouth. There are some interesting profiles of player. And let's not forget, when Liverpool signed Salah, it wasn't the Salah that he became at Liverpool. So, look, Liverpool are going to have to do something in that position. I'd be very interested over the next probably 6 months where they end up landing on the summer, because I think that will be a summer signing. I don't know whether we'll get another year of Salah, actually. That's why I think it's going to be very interesting over the next few months, whether he can get back to any semblance of form comparable to the last 3 months. Anyway, get your comments in below. Make sure you give us your thoughts on all the things we've spoken about there. Smash a like and subscribe to the channel, and I will speak to you on the next one. And also, don't forget the link in the video description for the charity. We're so close to hitting 37k. Please do get us over the line for our fantastic charity stream yesterday. Take care, everyone. I'll speak to you on the next one.